Hello and welcome to Otterwood Cottage, our beautiful small holding in the heart of the Lincolnshire countryside. I'm Emma and we're delighted to have you along with us. Alright, a little bit of a different video today. We're going to do an experiment together. So this is something I've never done before, never really kind of made any skincare products or health products, but we have for a long time now had two aloe plants which had been getting out of control. So this is our second one, which as you can see has grown a little baby plant, but was kind of, that one's nowhere near as out of control as the other one, which we have split, and the bigger plant was getting old and really we couldn't keep growing that on. So with the other one, we have planted its baby up. So we've got a new aloe there, and we harvested the aloe gel from the older, bigger leaves. Some of them had dried out, so they weren't easy to harvest from, but there were some fresher ones in the middle. And I'd done a little bit of research. I'd wanted for a time to make use of the aloe plants. We knew we were going to have to kind of separate them, plant the babies, and the older ones would need to kind of go. And I'd read a few things, seen a few things about aloe gel and the power of that for skincare and other things. So I've never really used it. I have bought aloe vera products in the past, but I've never made it myself. So this could be a disaster, but we can do it together. So I'll just cut away now to some footage of how we harvested the aloe. I tried a few different ways of doing it, including kind of chopping it into squares and slicing the way I would with an avocado, for example. But in the end, the method that worked best for me was to take each of the leaves, top and tail them, slice the sides, so the spiky bits down the side, slice those away, and then slice the leaf itself into relatively thin strips, which then allowed me to almost fillet it like it was a fish to take the skin off, and that left the lovely gel inside. So that bit of work harvested this much aloe gel, and I have been doing a little bit of research to figure out how to turn that into, what I'm going to turn it into is just a moisturising skincare product, which should help with kind of dry skin on hands and feet and things like that. It's not going to make a huge amount, the amount we've harvested, but it doesn't, from everything I've read, it doesn't store all of that long anyway, about a month with the recipe I'm using. So we wouldn't want to make too much at a time. So we're going to kind of go through the recipe for it together. I'm just going to check how much of the gel that I've got. I think it's probably about half a cup, yeah. So I've poured that, and it is, I wonder if you can see if I bring it up far enough, it is super gloopy coming out of the glass jar that I stored it in, and I stored it in the fridge, and it's about 3/4 of a cup. So that's a full cup. It's about 3/4 of a cup that we managed to harvest, and I'm popping that into my blender. And then just two other ingredients to add. So if there's 3/4 of a cup, I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup of, this is coconut oil, to balance out the texture. So around 1/3 of a cup of that, I'm going to pop that in. And then the final ingredient is to help it preserve for the month, otherwise it only keeps for about a week, and that is some food grade citric acid. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of citric acid into the mix. I'm going to make it a fairly heaped teaspoon because there's slightly more aloe gel than I was expecting. So a nice heaped teaspoon of citric acid, and then I'm going to take that over to the blender, blend it up, and I'll show you what it looks like all done. Now, I did say it was going to be an experiment, and I have learned something already in making this, which is that what I should have done when putting them together was to warm through the coconut oil so that it was liquid rather than solid form when I started to blend. So the blending process initially went a little bit kind of gritty and crummy, and they didn't blend together very well. So I took the mixture out and warmed it through, and you can see now it's blended together beautifully. So I'm going to pour that now into, it's dead classy, an old Dijon mustard glass jar, but it's about the right size. So So I'm going to pour that into here, and I'm expecting that that will then, look at that, not even planned, but perfectly filled. So I'm expecting that to solidify as it cools. I didn't warm it till it was hot, just a kind of gentle warm through. I'm expecting that to solidify, but in the meantime, the feel of it, it goes on like a body butter almost, is how it feels. It smells of coconut more than the aloe vera. It's got a really nice coconut smell and feels quite nice on my skin. So I'll let that cool and harden, and I'll let you know in a few days. Should last about a month, I believe. I'll let you know in a few videos time if we've liked it, if it's been a nice product. Just a quick one today. Thought it might be fun to share an experiment with you. Aloe vera and coconut body butter. Let's see.